Here are 5 tips on how to get comfortable and better at talking to the camera. Let's get into it. This is something that happened to me, right? I went out, I found the best camera. I was like, oh, I'm ready to, I got all gung-ho. I turned the camera on. And then as soon as it came time for me to record, I was like, I don't know how to talk to a camera. I'm gonna break this down for y'all. The very first one that is almost obvious, and you could think of this like as cliche, is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Turn on the camera, get comfortable, get familiar with the settings, and just press record. I would say the most neglected, but also what some people don't want to hear. I know it sounds corny and people say it all the time, but practice makes perfect. Just practice and you'll get so much better at it. Also, sometimes you gotta just put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Like right now, I'm sitting outside, the camera's on top of the truck, and I'm just talking to y'all. Sometimes if you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, no matter how cringe or how weird it is, it will put some fire on that ass. It would allow you to say, hey, this is weird, but I'm forcing myself into it and I'm just doing this with an open mind. There's tons of cars passing right by me. They can all see me recording. They see that I'm outside in the cold. It's like 15 degrees out here with no jacket. He's talking to a camera. He could be he's just weird, and that's it. Who cares? You are the director. This is your studio. Allow yourself to be creative and comfortable, because at the end of the day, who cares? It doesn't matter. Even if you record a couple of clips or practice every day and you don't upload those practice clips, it's only you and the camera. Think about it like this, it's only you and the camera. No one will have to see it, just you, the camera, and you can practice as much as you want. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll get talking to the camera. And I know talking to the camera is not the most comfortable or natural thing to do, but think of it this way, the more you try, the more you practice, the better you are, and your audience will thank you for that. All right, tip number 2. I know this one is a little of a different one, but I know a lot of us, we talk to family members and things like that on FaceTime or video chat and stuff like that. The one trick that worked for me was to pretend you're on a FaceTime call and you're talking to someone that you really care about. And in that way, it'll give you that extra confidence that you're talking to someone on the other end of the camera that you really care about, or is a friend that you speak to on a daily basis. I think about it like this. I'm talking to one of the boys that I'm playing Call of Duty with, or a really close friend that I've grew up with. And this allows me to have this natural dialogue. And to be honest, in the beginning, this was the hardest. It's even hard for me now. I do a couple of takes before I shoot the video. I think about it like this. I'm talking to my YouTube family or friends and stuff like that. This is a community that I'm building from the ground up. If I'm comfortable talking to them or a family member or a loved one, this allows me to be my natural self. Tip number 3 is to be your natural self. I know I mentioned this before, but being yourself allows you to be the utmost comfortable. I know sometimes it can be kind of cringe looking directly at a camera. If you're being yourself, this comes completely natural. And I'm not saying you have to be all serious and all, no, be your complete self. If you're your complete self and you're creating that content, they can see it. You can see it when you're editing it in post. Being yourself is the utmost important thing, because this gives you the confidence to talk to anyone. For a long time, I really had a hard time just turning on the camera and talking in a public space. Like, look at me now. I'm creating this video. I'm standing outside of a parking lot, and there could be tons of people looking at me, but a lot of times people are not even paying attention. They're going through their day-to-day, doing all the things that they need to do. They just see you with the camera. There obviously will be some curiosity. Eventually that curiosity will change. They'll be doing their own thing. They'll be doing their own day-to-day. They won't have any concern as to what you're doing with the camera. So be yourself. It is the utmost important thing, if not the most important thing, when it comes to content creation. And like I said, your audience will thank you for it. This last tip is for all my introverts out there. As an introverted person, I was afraid to press record. I was afraid to turn on the camera. But what I did was I took my own phone, and some of my friends probably have noticed this or may have not. But what I did was I turned the camera on, pressed record, and talked about my thoughts, talked about what I was feeling, talked about an idea, and got creative. And I recorded myself. I used it as like a video diary. I basically just recorded my thoughts, my feelings, how I felt, video ideas and content ideas, just so I had this space where I could just use a device that was so natural, like my iPhone, point it directly at myself and record it. And that way, if anybody was looking at me, they would just see a smartphone. They would not see a camera. Sometimes, you know, as an introvert, I'm a little shy. Sometimes I may look away from the camera. But if you think of that camera as the top of your smartphone, then you'll feel so comfortable. It wouldn't even matter. Sometimes if you just turn on the camera, right? Let's say you're going outside for a walk. If you casually do a quick vlog, even if you don't upload it or post it, it'll give you the confidence of, you know what, this is something I created. This is something that inspired me. These are my opinions on how I feel. Regardless of anybody else agrees or disagrees, this is the perfect opportunity to practice and rehearse being comfortable talking to the camera, even if no one sees it. But it doesn't matter, because you're getting those reps in, you're getting that practice, you're getting comfortable with your camera that you invested so much money in, and this will allow you to get better and at no one's expense. This allows you to just get that practice in. And sometimes even if you put yourself in front of somebody, like on purpose, this will allow you to feel comfortable on how you talk to the camera, how it looks, and how you feel. Anyway, I hope these tips help out. This is something that I've been struggling with. Even now, sometimes I'm even afraid to turn on the camera and press record. Sometimes I don't have that confidence, but trust me, coming from me, who is very much introverted, it becomes natural over time. Like I said, you just gotta practice. Don't be afraid. Sometimes you could even just practice recording in your home, in your car, like I do. Sometimes you could even just put yourself out in a space where you feel uncomfortable. But anyway, listen, if y'all made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.